when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was asked by a reporter why he had appointed 50% women to his cabinet, and his famous response, because it's 2015. And what's remarkable to me about that moment is not his very appropriately feminist response, although that was super cool, but the fact that it had to be asked at all. How did we get to the 21st century, and it is still a question, it's still something we have to wonder about, why women should have equal positions of leadership in our politics or in business or in anywhere else in the world. And if I think back to my own career, so this is almost 30 years to the day that I had my first big job out of university, and I kind of thought we were going to be further along than we are 30 years later. And so I began to wonder, why is it that we haven't gotten so far? Why, in fact, some people have commented, and I think I agree with this, that we have in some ways plateaued in our progress. And that plateau in progress is problematic. And some people have concluded that maybe this plateau is coming because we have been making this case on an anti-discrimination basis. We're saying it's just not right to discriminate against women. And so they have started to turn to making what we call the business case. Somehow, if we can make an economic argument for why diversity matters, then we should somehow be able to make progress going forward. And so you see this in the headlines all the time. The Financial Times and other places. The evidence is growing. There is a true business case for diversity. And this is just all over the place in the business press, and it is based in large part on reports like the reports that I'm showing data of here, which comes from Catalyst, but there are many others from many other organizations that have started to establish these relationships between presence of women and performance. In this case, what this chart shows is that returns for firms that have, for firms with no women on their board of directors versus firms with 3 or more women on their board of directors is much lower. Or when you have women, the performance is much higher. And if you don't want to just focus on boards of directors, maybe you think that's a pretty elite kind of setting, you could also look at just overall organizations, as this data from McKinsey shows that more gender diverse companies are actually more likely to outperform their peers.